Okay, we're ready for the third read. I'm going to let Austin do most of the talking. We've read the story twice now, and remember, during the first and second read, I was a storyteller. But now it is time for me to lift Austin's voice and allow him to become the storyteller. Because we've read the story twice now, and he really has a good understanding of what's happening, I know that he can tell the story. He has also learned some new vocabulary that I've taught using the PAT strategy. I hope you remember to point, act out, and tell. So now, it is Austin's turn to tell the story. Of course, I'm not going to ask him to read every page. Instead, I'm going to ask him what is happening in the story and then help him connect the important events and the character's thoughts and feelings about those events. When Austin can do this, I know he really understands this story. So come on, let's watch Austin become the storyteller in the third read. Austin, do you remember the title of this story? What do you think the title is?
Amari's Adventure.
Yes, you're right. The title of the story is Amari's Adventure. It's written by the Rollins Center for Language and Literacy at the Atlanta Speech School and is illustrated by Maurice Jackson Jr. I know we've read this story a couple of times, and I did most of the talking when we read it, but now I'm sure you really know the story because we've read it twice already. So now you're going to be able to help me tell the story. Are you ready? Okay, Amari's Adventure. I remember at the end of the story, Amari said she felt big. I wonder why Amari felt big. So this time, let's read and find out why Amari felt big at the end of the story. Amari, called Dad from downstairs. Wake up. It's your special day with Mama and Will. But Amari was already awake. She sat up in bed and she hugged the tiger and whispered, "Today is the day." What happened here?
Amari's going on an adventure.
And how do you think Amari feels about going on an adventure?
Excited.
Yes, I'm thinking Amari probably really is excited to go on an adventure. What is happening on this page, Austin?
Amari's studying her reflection.
Oh, yes, Amari is studying her reflection. Do you remember anything about a reflection?
Reflection is something something like you look into and you see another person of you.
Right, you see another image of yourself. It's like when you look in the mirror. Okay, do you notice anything else about this page?
I noticed a statue of Martin Luther King Jr.
Right, we do notice a statue of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Do you know anything about him?
He told white people and brown people to be equally.
Right, so he wanted everyone to be treated equally. He was a great leader. The zoo was a busy place. Amari and Will bumped their heads together looking at the map. "Where are the tigers?" asked Amari. "We'll see them after the parakeet house," answered Mama, and Amari sighed. How do you think Amari felt when Mom said, "We'll see the tigers after the parakeet house"?
She said, I really wanted to see the tigers first.
Right, so you're thinking Amari was probably thinking, I really wanted to see those tigers first. And here, what is happening on this page?
Amari's pushing up her stick to the parakeets, and she's trying hard and hard, and she saw a parakeet under the ground, and she gave the stick to the parakeet.
Right, so what did she do with her arm? Do you remember? She stretched her arm. How do you think Amari felt when she realized that her arm was still too short when she stretched it?
Sad.
Sad, and maybe what?
Disappointed.
Maybe she was disappointed.
Frustrated.
Oh, yeah, she could have even been frustrated. Here, do you remember? There was a problem on this page. Do you remember?
There was a
problem
crowd
was?
of people walking to Amari's view, and she saw a corner crack that she was the only person that fit.
Right, so this crowd of people, they were blocking Amari's view, and that was a problem for her to see the tiger exhibit. So Amari couldn't see a thing. Her heart beat fast and her throat felt tight. But then she noticed something. There at the bottom corner of the window was an empty space in the crowd. I'm small enough to fit there, she thought. So all day, Amari had been comparing herself to her brother, thinking how she is different than he is because she is small. But now, being small is helping Amari solve her problem because she can fit in that corner. What is happening on this page?
A little girl imitates Amari because she can't see through the crowd of people.
Right, and how does Amari solve her problem? Let's turn back. Let's look back for a second. Remember, a crowd of people, they were blocking Amari's view. But then Amari noticed something. What did she notice?
A little crack.
A little corner. There was a corner, an empty corner. There was no one there. So what did the little girl do?
Imitate Amari.
She imitated Amari by doing.
Helping the little girl.
Amari helped the little girl, but the little girl followed Amari. You're right, she did imitate her by following her to the corner. And here they are at the tiger exhibit. How do you think Amari felt when she finally found that corner and she was able to see the tigers?
Excited.
How do you think Amari felt about being able to help the little girl?
Proud.
She probably felt proud. So the little girl says, "A baby tiger." "Wow," whispered the little girl. "He's looking right at us," replied Amari. "He is beautiful." I'm wondering if Amari feels big to help this little girl see the tigers. Sometimes when we are proud, we feel good about something we've done. It makes us feel big. So Amari really is proud because she's helping the little girl. So here they are. Amari's with her mom. Do you remember what Amari's mom called her?
A little problem solver.
Yes, she says, "What are you thinking about, my little problem solver?" whispered Mama, looking up from her sandwich. How do you think Mama feels about Amari?
Proud.
Mama probably feels proud. So here they are at the splash park. Amari took off her shoes and jumped in the puddles, but not Will. He just laughed at her wet shorts and shook his head. Amari shivered. It was getting late. Mama wrapped her up in their big purple towel and rubbed her back to warm her up. "We've had quite an adventure, an exciting time," Mama said. Back at home, Amari couldn't stop talking. "Mama, that was really an adventure. The exciting time," she said. "I was so upset because of that crowd, that large group of people. But that corner spot was empty and just the right size for me. And Mama, did you see? I made 2 friends today." Yes, when you found your way to the window, you also helped another little girl find her way, Mama said, and wrapped her arms around Amari's shoulder. "We both fit in that tiny spot by the window," Amari remembered, and the little tiger looked right at us. How do you think Amari's mom feels about her helping that little girl?
Proud.
Right. I'm thinking that Mama really is proud of Amari. She feels like Amari has done something good. Amari laid her head on Mama's soft lap. Mama's flowered skirt smelled like fresh cut grass from the park. I wish I had seen that tiger, Amari, Dad said. It sounds like it was a real adventure. Amari grinned, then glanced up at Will brushing his teeth across the hall. He stood tall, leaning toward. What do you think he saw in the mirror?
His reflection.
Yes, he was leaning toward his reflection in the mirror. Snuggling in close to Mama, Amari said, I'm smaller than Will, but today I felt big. So, Austin, why did Amari say she felt big today?
Because she was bigger than the little girl.
Right, she was bigger than the little girl. And what did she help the little girl do?
Find a way.
Find a way to
look at the tigers.
Right, she helped the little girl solve the problem and find a way to see the tiger exhibit. So Amari felt big. So sometimes you may seem small, but just because you think you're small, it doesn't mean that you can't do big things. Okay? All right, good job. Hi, I hope you enjoyed the third read. It's been my experience that my children love to hear the same story read over and over again. You've probably noticed the same thing with your children too. That is why I absolutely love using the read strategy, because I can read stories with my children and enjoy them several times, but each time I do it with a different purpose. I find that as I read the story with my children and focus on vocabulary, events, and characters' thoughts and emotions, my children have a lot more to say about the story. And that's what we want, for our children to become the storytellers and talk about the story on their own. This is how we know they truly understand it. And when children understand what they read, they're better prepared to read on their own as they get older. Thanks so much for taking the time to learn about the read strategy. I know you and your children are going to love reading this way together. All right, now it's your turn to read with your children. And remember to have fun as you read the story.